Canadian people are immigrated from different countries, so for that reason, they're loyal to their home country, they buy from different places, so it would be nice if everybody would support the local industry.
Right now, we could send either 10 cents or we could send $10 million directly into China. As we set up this global network of Bitcoin ATMs, it'll really free up the transfer of money around the world.
This could hurt Quebec's standing in the world and its capacity to attract the immigration it needs to prosper.
Banks are responding to pressure from the Canadian government, which is trying to prevent a US-style credit crisis, and lenders are taking notice. When BlackBerry unveiled its new Z10 handset and new operating system, it wanted to show the world it was back with a bang. An ambitious project aimed at recapturing the consumer market without losing its core business customers. For Canadian consumers, whether it's to admire the exotics, indulge in nostalgia, or eye up that first car, the love affair with four wheels is anything but over. Christian Yeo, CCTV, Toronto. Whilst the laws here keep a lid on beer and wine sales, they can't contain Ontario's entrepreneurial spirit, which is finding unique ways to reach thirsty consumers. Christian Yeo, CCTV, Toronto.
Climate change is drastically altering the landscape of our world, and it's affecting not just people, but animals as well. Environmentalists in Canada say global warming is posing a huge problem for the country's polar bear population. Our insight begins in Canada. Christian Yeo is in Churchill, Manitoba, with more about these bears on the brink.
It's November, and these polar bears are tired of the tundra. They're waiting for the ice on Canada's Hudson Bay to freeze. That's their dinner call, the start of feeding season.
Once the bay freezes, the bears can go out onto the ice and do what polar bears do, which is catch and eat seals. When they're on land, they're not eating.
As the bears watch the water, visitors watch them. They might not have the chance to do so for much longer. These magnificent creatures, observed and photographed by so many, could be facing a tragic journey into obscurity. There are just under 1,000 of these polar bears in the West Hudson Bay area. That's down from about 1,200 of them 25 years ago. And if current climate trends continue, within 50 years there might only be a few handfuls of these bears in the remotest northern parts of the area. Global warming is causing the Hudson Bay to freeze later in the year and melt earlier. The bear's feeding window slowly shortening.
The Arctic is the Earth's early warning system. It's actually warming about twice the rate of the rest of the planet. So the polar bear is the canary in the coal mine.
To the average onlooker, these bears still look tremendously large and majestic, but to observers who've been here long enough, the narrowing feeding season is having a visible impact.
When I talk to people who've been here for decades, they describe bears that were much larger, much fatter. They described more moms with cubs, occasionally a mom with 3 cubs. Here, a mother with 2 cubs seems like quite a rarity.
As the bears are left to loiter the land, the chances of confrontations with people run higher. There is heightened sensitivity to the bear's presence in the town of Churchill, the self-described polar bear capital of the world.
Definitely noticing a shift in concerns, and particularly around the area of human-wildlife conflict. With more bears spending longer periods of time on shore, they're more likely to get in trouble with people.
Some disagree with the notion that the bears are in decline. Last year, an aerial survey by the government of Nunavut, Canada's northernmost territory, found that bear numbers in the West Hudson Bay hadn't dropped significantly for 7 years, despite predictions they would almost halve. But the ice in the bay is melting quickly, and environmentalists say it's only a matter of time before the inevitable happens.
This population, unfortunately, is probably already committed to extinction here. That's because of the lag time in the climate system, where because it takes a long time between emission of greenhouse gases and for the climate system to feel the full warming impact of that.
For conservationists, the Western Hudson Bay is ground zero for climate change assessment. For tourists, it's where the magic and wonder of these animals can be witnessed up close. Christian Yeo, CCTV, Churchill, Manitoba.